What's up YouTube? How are you doing today? Chana D or Techno Dad here, and in this video I'm going to show you how I make my DJ live stream stand out and go over tips I've learned along the way about cameras, audio, multi-stream, and copyright. And we're going to get into it right after the jump. I'm back. All right, so I know this is a different type of video. I don't normally make these kinds of videos, but I want to help my fellow DJs out there because a lot of them have been DJing for a long time, but they haven't been streaming for a long time. And thanks to my YouTube channel, which is almost at 70,000 subscribers, I have actually been streaming for about 2.5 years now. So I'm familiar with the gear, I'm familiar with the setup and how to make it sounding and looking good. So if you're wanting to know all these things, let's start off first with my 5 big tips, and then we'll get into all the technical stuff and I'll show you around my setup after that. All right, so tip number 1, and I think the most important, is to have fun. And as cliche as it sounds, be yourself. So have fun and be yourself, because your viewers can see you having fun and they also can tell when you're not being authentic to them. So definitely you want to have fun. I mean, music and DJing is fun anyway, right? Right? I mean, I think it is, and they see me having a whole lot of fun. So have fun and be yourself. Now, if you're not having fun DJing, I'm not sure why you're DJing, so maybe you need to think about that. All right, so tip number 2 is you are probably going to be investing some money into your stream, okay? If you want it to sound good, you got to put in some dough. That's pretty much it. Now, if you're on Serato DJ or Tractor or Virtual DJ, or if you're using any kind of laptop to actually DJ, you're going to need the laptop for DJing, and then you're going to need a laptop or a desktop or whatever for streaming. So you're going to need a second machine, okay? So that involves more money. And at the same time, you're going to want to make sure you are plugged in or hardwired to your router. So my router is upstairs, and a couple years ago, I was convinced by another YouTube person to get a cable from upstairs down here into the studio so that my live streams will be directly plugged into the router. And when I did that, my quality increased, and of course my reliability also increased. You're not dealing with Wi-Fi, so I rolled that all into the second tip of you're going to need some cash to do something like that. So you're definitely going to be investing in your stream because you want this to actually build something. You're going to be doing this like at least once a week, and it's not just going to finish when quarantine is over. You're going to want to continue it after that. Tip number 3 is communicate with your audience. Now, I know a lot of DJs don't like to do this when they're DJing. I personally don't when I'm at an event. I'm not on the microphone unless there's some sort of, announcement or something I need to make. At a wedding, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm the MC, so that's all normal. But for when I'm DJing just house music, or when I'm DJing all the stuff I like to DJ, I'm usually not talking. That's not the way to roll on a live stream, no matter what platform you're on. You're going to want to communicate with your audience because the whole part of a live stream is the interaction. If you don't do that, and totally cool. If you're like a big name DJ that's got like, you're touring around the world, yeah, you don't need to talk to anybody. But if you are not one of those people and you want to make your stream better and have people coming back, they come back for you. And they do come back for the music, but they come back for you, your personality. They like you. They like the music you play. So that's all a part of it. And it's pretty easy. Just say, hey, what's up, so-and-so? Hey, Mark, Jim, Fred, Ethel, Lucy, Ricky. Basically, they want to interact. So the more you ignore them, the less likely they're going to return. Now, of course, I'm not talking about like talking all throughout the DJ set. No. No, just say what's up, and like on Facebook, it was crazy because my dad has never seen me DJ, and he had a stroke in November and is in and out of the hospital. All kinds of stuff was happening back then. And in one of the streams in March, it was my first multi-stream, and I'll get into that in a minute. And I streamed to a bunch of platforms at once. One of them was Facebook, and it was my personal Facebook page. And, my aunt was like, hey, good to see you. And I was like, oh my gosh, is my dad watching? Please let me know if my dad is watching, because that would be so cool. And me just saying that and being excited about it, the viewers were also like interested in that whole aspect. So communicate with your viewers about what's going on. And I've had crazy stuff happen because I'm on Facebook. Random people from college, people from grade school are all hitting me up during the live stream. So it's great to say what's up to them through the microphone and everything, so that people know what's going on and they can see that I'm excited. And it goes back to the whole having fun thing. So definitely communicate with your audience. Okay, tip number 4 is choosing a good time to stream. Now, a lot of DJs, I know this, that are friends of mine, they fall into the trap of, oh, it's 8 p.m., let's DJ. Probably not the best idea. What you want to do is you want to think globally as opposed to locally, meaning your stream is available to people all around the world. So don't just make it convenient for you and the people in your nearest area. You want to have a stream that is accessible by everyone around the world. And you're like, okay, Techno Dad, what does that mean? What do you mean? Like, how do I know what time it is in other parts of the world? And that's easy. You got a world clock in your phone, and I suggest you use it. So just put cities in different parts of every continent, and then you'll know what time it is when you're streaming and what time it is everywhere else in the world. And normally I stream for about 3 hours. So I stream 2 p.m. Saturdays from 2 to 5. And for the most part, in that 3-hour time span, people from all around the world can catch your stream either at the beginning, the middle, or the end, depending on where they live and, what their sleep schedule is like right now, with Corona being a big thing and people just staying at home. And, I go to sleep at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and that's not usually a normal thing. I think like 1 or 2 in the morning is normally what I do. But anyway, think globally, not locally, when you're trying to set up a stream. All right, tip number 5. I know you heard the phrase so many times. What is multi-stream? Basically, you're going to take your one stream and you're going to deliver it to multiple platforms. So in my case, I stream on YouTube, my Facebook personal page, my Facebook Technodad page, Periscope, which is owned by Twitter. So anybody on Twitter that's following you will get an alert and they can watch the stream right there on Twitter, on their Twitter feed, and then Twitch. Okay. Now, I know about Instagram. I haven't done it too much. I've done it a couple of times, but there's a couple of little hokey things about it that you got to figure out, and I'll let you know about that in a minute. And of course, the brand new Mixcloud. I will be testing that out in a couple of days, and I might run it this Saturday. I might not. It all depends on how IG Stream is going to work with my setup. I might have to add another computer just for Instagram. So I got to figure that out. All the social media experts and gurus always say you want to be on multiple platforms if you can, because your audience at that point in time can be in a different place. Like, instead of being on YouTube, maybe they were on Twitter, or maybe they were on Facebook. So you want to try and catch them wherever they are. So if you're streaming to multiple platforms at the same time, that's going to be huge, and it's going to bring your viewership up. Now we'll talk about what I use to multi-stream and a couple of options later in the video. And here is a bonus tip. One of the biggest things that I know is you have to do something different. I was watching an interview with Carl Cox a couple months ago, and he was like, well, you like tech house? Well, there's tech house masters. You like to DJ trance? There's already people that are doing that and do that very well. So you need to do something different. So I add on a little bongo on top of the whole situation, and that's also fun for me, and it's cool for people to watch because it's something different. Now I have a whole side here of synthesizers and drum machines, and at some point I'm going to be doing a live looping song or two during the live stream with all that equipment. So that is also going to set me apart from the crowd, and that's something you definitely need to think about. Maybe you do the video stuff, so maybe you can have a shot of your DJ setup with maybe at the top the music video playing. Of course, there's like copyright issues and all that other stuff you have to think about when you're adding visuals to your setup. But anyway, that's my bonus tip. You got to do something different. You can't just DJ, not talk to people, not look like you're having fun. You start to get it. You have to do a little bit more. All right, let's move on to audio, because the biggest thing for music is having good audio, right? Gotta have it. So I use a Rodecaster Pro as my audio interface. An audio interface is basically something that takes your audio from your DJ mixer or wherever and puts it into your computer so that your computer can use it as an audio source. I'm currently using the Rodecaster Pro right now with this podcasting mic. This is what I usually do my podcast, the Daily Hi-Fi podcast that's on every Monday, 4 p.m. I like this Rodecaster a lot because it has 4 inputs. So what's happening off the Denon Prime 4 is I'm taking the 2 stereo master outs and putting it into channels 3 and 4 here. And then channel 2 is running a journeyman style wireless microphone attached to a Shure pack. And that's what you saw me using or heard me using in the intro of this video. It was the wireless one that I use in the actual stream, and all those things come into the Rodecaster Pro, and then I'm using the Rodecaster Pro as the audio interface in OBS. Now, you don't need a $600 audio interface. No, you don't. You need an audio interface that can handle 2 inputs. Mostly you can come off of your booth out, which is a 1/4 inch on most DJ mixers. Maybe it's an XLR, maybe it's a 1/4 inch. So maybe you have to get like, you know, a 1/4 inch to XLR cable. You know, I'll put links down in the description to all these things. But for the most part, you can get away with a 2-channel audio interface. Now, I like to use 3 channels. So if you were to get like something like a Zoom H6 or an H5 or something like that, I know the Zoom H6, which I also have for making YouTube videos, has 4 inputs. So you could actually use 3 inputs, your microphone, and then a stereo out from the mixer that you're using. Now, if you're wondering why I don't use a microphone in the mixer itself, it's because something about that Shure like wireless pack, it just doesn't sound good coming through the Denon Prime 4. Now, I know people in the Denon Prime 4 forums and Facebook groups have been complaining about that, and I haven't had any problems with other wireless systems, but that Shure wireless system really just doesn't sound good. So I just go directly to the Rodecaster Pro, which is here on my desk. And the reason why I have that journeyman style wireless microphone is that one of my wedding clients actually like requested it, and it's a pretty expensive microphone. It's like $400 just for that little dinky little microphone, and then you got to buy the Shure wireless pack on top of that. I figured, what the hell, my client wants it, so I got that, and it was just kind of laying around. And I was like, oh, well, I can talk to people without having to hold a mic or mounting a mic somewhere, and it's working out pretty well. Like, I'll be mixing something and just be like, oh, it sounds like crap, and I'll like pull it out and be like, abort, and you know, people start laughing and stuff, and it's easy to look at the chat and answer people without having to turn on a mic or go grab the mic or whatever. It's just right here. Okay, so let's say you have your audio interface and you've got everything set up and you want to have music in the room, and you have a microphone that you don't necessarily want to keep turning on and off. Like, if you want to talk at that moment, just go ahead and talk and you're cool. So I have everything routed to the Rodecaster Pro. And what I did was I had a buddy of mine jump on an unlisted stream. So in YouTube, you can stream and you can set your stream to public, private, or unlisted. So if it's private, only you can see it. If it's public, everyone can see it. And if it's unlisted, the only people that can see it are the ones that have the link. So I had my buddy Joe from the Joe and Tail channel jump on an unlisted live stream. So I gave him the link to the unlisted live stream, and I had my Facebook Messenger open, and we were communicating through Facebook Messenger while he was listening to what was happening. So the first thing that we did was get the audio right. So with the Denon Prime 4 and the newest update, you can stream tracks from Tidal. So I picked a track from Tidal, streamed it on there, and so he's hearing the music over at his place on his system, and then he opened up Tidal on his computer to the same track and listened to it, and then he told me, okay, we need to go louder. And so basically we just, you know, it was trial and error, just balanced the sound so my audio has the same volume level and clarity as what's coming through Tidal. So that was huge. You got to do that. Just spend the time to do that. It took us like a couple of hours just messing around and going back and forth just to do all of this audio stuff. So after we got the audio for the output on the mixer dialed in with the volume level of Tidal, then I put on the microphone, and then we started messing around with the microphone level and the level of the DJ mixer, or what's coming out of the DJ mixer. Once we got that, I wanted to definitely get my KRKs to have sound in the room, because it's really hard to just mix in your headphones the whole time. So that was the next step. It was to balance the microphone level so that my volume from the KRKs aren't interfering with the microphone. Okay, because we want to have solid audio coming out of the mixer going into the audio interface, which we already have. But I just needed to hear the mix so it's easier for me to mix while I'm in the mix, right? So that took a couple of hours going back and forth with him. I think I had like reset up and rechanged a few things. I did 2 unlisted live streams and then I just set those to private. I could probably delete them, but they're still in YouTube somewhere, just hanging out, not doing anything, not getting any views. But the point is, you need to take the time to get somebody else to help you do this so that the audio sounds good. The only way you're going to know is if somebody on the other end tells you. Now, I totally could have done this on my own by, sending the stream to my computer up there, patching that through to my sound system, and then I could, come down here, make adjustments, go back upstairs, listen, come back down here. But that was kind of a lot to deal with, and just having somebody else there that can communicate with you on a different platform, whether it's just text message or messenger, that really helps. So thank you, Joe, if you're watching. Thanks a lot for that, buddy. You made this live stream sound awesome. So once you got all of that dialed in, what you're going to want to do is take pictures on your cell phone or whatever, email them to yourself. Just make sure you know what all the input volumes are for your audio interface and all your output volumes are on your DJ mixer. You want to make sure that you can recall those settings at any time. All right, now that we got audio out of the way, let's talk about video, because there's a whole lot going on for video. One of the main things to think about when you're looking at cameras to pick up for a live stream is the resolution. You're going to want to have a camera that can do 1080p 60 frames per second. That's like the ideal resolution. 4K streaming, that's going to cost a lot of money, and you need to have ton of upload bandwidth for that. So let's keep it at 1080p 60. Anything less will work. However, if you want to have the best looking stream right now, that's going to be 1080p 60. Now, what cameras can you use? Quick backstory, I was going to try to do this gaming channel, and I was playing a lot of Call of Duty at the time, and I figured, hey, if I'm already playing it, I could stream it on Twitch. So that's when I started my Twitch account, and I picked up not 1, but 2 webcams, and they connect up via USB, so that's pretty easy to handle. Now in the live stream, I've got the DJ cam, which is on a pole right next to me. Here's the main shot. This pole is right here, and the camera's right up there, kind of giving me that bird's eye view on the mixer. And then the second one I'm using as the bongo cam. Now the webcams connect up via USB, which is pretty handy, especially if your computer has a lot of USB inputs. But they are kind of far away from the computer, which is right down here, and the cameras are all over there. So I picked up a couple of USB 3.0 extenders. I haven't had too many issues with the cameras, because I actually had an issue with trying to put them on the same USB hub, because I didn't have cables that would go all the way down from here across the floor to my desktop here. But with these extenders, everything is working. And one of the things I was totally confused about was connecting both webcams to a USB hub. Even though the USB hub was powered, it would only choose one of the 2 cameras. So if you're thinking you can run it that way, you kind of can't. You're going to need separate ports for each camera. Now my main camera, which is this shot here, is the Panasonic GH5, and this camera here is a Panasonic G7, which I actually just got. And these cameras don't have USB, they have HDMI outputs. So for that, you're going to need some sort of capture card. Now I got a couple of small ones like the AverMedia, like Live Gamer Mini, and I do have a big 4K 60 capture card in my desktop because, like I mentioned before, I was trying to do this gaming channel. So I was running my Xbox through that, and I just kind of had this stuff sitting around. So what other cameras can you use? Well, you can use your phone camera. Like I use OBS, and there's a little OBS app that's $15.99, and you load up that app on your phone, and now you can just plug your phone into the USB port and use that camera as a webcam, and it's actually going to look better than the webcams like the Logitech one I have. Now I was thinking about it the other day, and we have 3 iPads here in the house. Like my teenager has one, my wife has one, and I have one. That's literally 3 cameras there that I can use. Just need to buy the app, download it on each device, and get long cables. Of course, you're going to need some sort of like stand or like, you know, those big iPads are kind of big. So like one of those little mounting things to a tripod, or like a, you know, Gorilla Pod, or some sort of flexy bendy head thing with a clip, or some, there's a lot of mounts out there. But anything like that will definitely work and make your stream look better than just using a standard webcam. Another thing to consider, as webcams are actually kind of rare right now because everybody's live streaming, is using the old school handy cam. Yeah, that's right. The old school camcorders. I think you can find a whole bunch for around $200, and you can use that. That shoots in 1080p 60. It's got, usually have great zoom. You just have to make sure you find one that has a battery or AC adapter, so you can just run it on power and it won't shut off. So that's the one thing you got to look out for on those, but I think you can easily find something that will work. Now, also in the $200 price range about is the GoPro 7. Now, they do have the GoPro 8, but for $229, it's hard to pass up on the GoPro 7 because it has a built-in HDMI port. It's a micro HDMI port, and you can power it externally from a power pack or a wall plug. I tested it out. I actually got 2 GoPro 7s in, and you connect up the USB-C to power and the micro HDMI to HDMI capture card, and you're good to go. So that's actually one of my upgrades. Since this DJ cam, as you can see the windows behind the DJ setup, and there's a lot of light there and looks a little washed out. The bongo cam, this doesn't look like the greatest quality here, so I'm going to be replacing those with GoPro 7s once I get a bigger HDMI capture card. Now, the one I'm referring to is this 4-port HDMI from Blackmagic. It is pretty pricey, but this is from B&H, and that's another thing I wanted to let you guys know. Like, Amazon is taking forever to make deliveries such as this. The latest capture card I got was the AverMedia capture card called the Live Gamer Mini, and this thing took like 4 weeks to get here. And it is pretty small, and it's fairly cheap. It's a USB option, definitely good, but man, it took forever to get here from Amazon. So I've been starting to buy this kind of equipment through Autorama or B&H Photo, and I'll have links to all that stuff down in the description. But right now on Autorama, you can get a GoPro Hero 7 for $229. You can get the Hero 8 for $300. The problem is you have to spend another $80 to get the media mod so you can actually connect an HDMI cable. So that's probably just not the way to go. Just save yourself the money and the time and the headache and just get the GoPro 7s. Now, I know you're thinking like, dude, Chana, these things are adding up. And I know. I actually just had credit with Autorama and B&H Photo. And I think with the Autorama VIP 360, it's kind of like an Amazon Prime where everything ships, 2 days for free. And it's like a yearly charge or whatever. So I signed up for that like a year ago. I signed up for their credit. They gave me $3,000 credit. So I had a bunch of credit. And I was like, oh, let's bump up my live streaming setup. So I have a bunch of stuff coming in, and there's going to be a lot of cool changes happening with my live stream, and I'm pretty stoked about it. But anyway, there are tons of different ways to get cameras in that are budget friendly, like using old cell phones or webcams that you might have laying around, and going to a full-fledged camera setup or GoPro setup using an HDMI capture card. All right, so next thing is framing and lighting. Okay, so one of the biggest things is having your little DJ set or setup. As you can see, my setup isn't the greatest. Luckily, I do have this window, so I'm getting a lot of light in from there. These lights here are just, lights on hue, so they can be white, they can be blue, and that's kind of cool because that'll be in frame. There it is in white. Here's a lighter blue. Here's that tropical twilight, Savannah sunset, Arctic aura. But anyway, I could choose the color. It doesn't really matter. But those lights aren't the lights that actually light you up in the frame, right? So right now, the outside light is going to be the light that is coming in on my face. The only problem is you need something else. Now, why do you need that? Going back here to this main camera, I've got 2 lights, 2 LED panel lights, and both of them are on. And basically, it's kind of like you want to set up a triangle, right? You want to have 2 lights, and then you're the tip of the triangle on the other side. And you want to have the lights pointing you so that you're well lit. A lot of these cameras need a lot of light. So here's me without the lights on, okay? Definitely not a good situation. Now, this little panel light here is by Aperture, and it's about $100, and it does a great job. I got like 2 or 3 of these to go and shoot things on site. So I'm using this right up here. Turn it on. As you can see, lights up the side of my face really well. But what about the other side? You can keep it like this. You have that nice little, create that little vibe, like, hey, it's getting dark. It's getting dark in here. Then turning on the other panel light just kind of fills in the space. Now that panel light I actually use to light up the back of me here. So let's go stand in that position right now. So I have that panel light kind of pointed at my back. So there's a little bit more because I'll turn to here and now the light is shining on my face, and I'll have this light coming in from here as well. So everything is pretty well lit for that time frame of 2 to 5 p.m. Now it's a little bit later in the day now than when I would normally be DJing, so it would be a lot brighter coming through here. Now if I turn that light off, it's getting pretty dark, right? Of course we can up the sensitivity or ISO on the camera here, and that will definitely add more light to our scene. Okay, so now I bumped up the sensitivity or ISO on the camera, and now you can see there's more light in this setup and it looks better. Now let me go add that panel light again. All right, so now much better. See, it's just one or two little things that can, change everything. So now that we've got the sensitivity of the camera bumped up, we got the panel light for this. I got a little bit of light coming in here. We can change this guy to blue, and that will kind of change the mood a little bit and make things a little bit more party or more fun or something like that. And one more thing is framing. Definitely make sure everything is framed up right. You kind of want to make sure you have at least a fist above your head before you get to the top of the frame. You don't want to give yourself a haircut. And as you can see, I'm pretty much in frame. Now, if I walk closer to the camera, then I'll start giving myself a haircut, and that's probably not a good idea. But from where I am, this is a good framing spot. Okay, so now let's talk about OBS. Now you can just, go on your phone and you can stream to whatever, and that's okay, and it'll work. You won't have the best audio, you won't have the best video, but it will work. I use OBS because I like to control my layout and control what people are seeing and switch cameras and all that kind of stuff. So right now this is just a front camera and I'm doing screen capture. So I'm not running in OBS like I was earlier. And here is my main set. I've got the main camera. That's the main thing you're seeing. I've got the DJ cam in the upper right. I've got the chat box down on the bottom right. Now, if you notice, this is what my actual camera looks like. So what I did was I covered up the window with the chat box and the DJ cam. Here's the DJ cam normally, but in my main shot, I have the main frame with the DJ cam and the chat box. Going over to the bongo cam, and it's still right here with the DJ cam and the chat box, just so that everybody can kind of see what's going on while I'm in that camera mode. Anyway, this is what I like about OBS. Let's say I'm in the main shot here and I need to take a break. Well, I'll just press this little button and I've got this stay home, save lives thing that I picked up off the internet. I have a stream starting soon. My graphics guy made this a while back and it's a good one to have. I even have this like little tip leaderboard because, I do have a tipping page. And if you want to see that, I can switch back and forth to my suggested tips and my link, and that's all in a graphic. So when people ask, hey, where can I tip you, I'll toss this up, and it's just really quick change from the main page to the tipping page. And the leaderboard is just a nice little fun thing so that they can kind of see, who's on top. It has some people's names and all that kind of stuff. So it's a nice little game for everybody to play, who's on top of the leaderboard. And I also have a stream ending scene, which is just this guy. Now the audio will be running throughout all of these scene changes. And that's kind of the cool part about OBS, is that you can kind of custom make your stuff. And this isn't like anything like crazy, extreme, awesome. This is just a basic OBS situation. And you've got scenes that are made up of different sources, and you can turn these sources off until there's nothing there. Oh, cancel. So we want the chat box back. We want our little stay home IG sticker back. And where's the DJ cam? There's the DJ cam. So each scene just has one or two different things. This will have a whole scene with the price list. This will just have the one graphic. The end stream has one graphic. Front camera is to just the camera itself. I have DJ cam large. I got my backup as I was changing stuff. You got to duplicate things and change things. So there's many ways you can set up OBS to give you the kind of look and feel that you're going for. And of course, this makes it more dynamic for the viewers as they have something to look forward to when the camera changes, or I start playing the bongos and the camera changes and they're like, oh, look, he's doing that thing again. You know, it's changing the scenery just so that they're not just always looking at you. And it's definitely a cool thing. Now, if you're wondering how I'm changing scenes without using my mouse, like you can just use your mouse and click here on the scene stuff to change it. But I'm actually using the Elgato Stream Deck just to change scenes. This thing is super easy, super affordable. It's like $129. And if you don't need this many buttons, you can get the smaller version, which is only $100. This hooks up USB, and I also have it on one of those 10-foot USB 3.0 extenders, because this actually sits over here by the bongo cam. So normally it's like right there. So as I'm DJing, I can just hit the buttons. This is what it looks like. And each button underneath is like a little LED screen. So I actually have pictures to help me figure out exactly what I'm pressing. Like my face is the main screen. The trophy thing is the tip leaderboard. I just use the same graphic. I just loaded into the Stream Deck software and it's good to go. And then if I wanted the tip sheet, I literally just loaded up the tip sheet in there. And then the bongo cam's got a little pair of bongos. And here's my stream starting, stream ending. So it's really cool to have something like this right at your fingertips, right where I'm DJing. And that way you don't have to fumble around with the mouse, which I did for about 3 or 4 streams until I was like, hey, I was like tired of going from here over here, messing around with my mouse just to change scenes, or if I wanted to take a break. I can just hit a button and be like, hey guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a beer or water or whatever, hit the restroom, yada yada, and then come back to the main shot when I'm back. And there you have it. It's easy. Just press a button and scene is changed. Now, one thing that's totally different is going to be streaming for Instagram through the desktop. Now, I learned how to do this from a DJ called Cleveland Terry. I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys to check it out. But basically, you're using OBS with another software called Yellow Duck. And what happens is Yellow Duck logs in to your Instagram account and basically kind of hacks it a little bit and makes Instagram think that your computer is actually the phone. Now, the only thing about it is, you know, right now we're in a landscape situation and we all know that Instagram is a vertical situation. So now to change all of that, we have to change the orientation of OBS. So let me show you how to do that real quick. Okay, so here we are at a brand new blank OBS. I just added in the audio capture device so you can hear me. Click settings, go to video. We need to change this resolution here to 1080 by 1920. And again, this one 1080 by 1920. And now we've got a vertical ready for Instagram. One of the things I want to do is keep my landscape video. Okay, so let's find a video feed. Oh, there we go. Let's use this one. All right. Now we can just kind of center things up and it'll work. But the better thing to do is have like a graphics person, you know, or hire someone to actually make a banner for IG, which I already did. Let's call it IG banner. And I usually keep a folder called Stream Assets on my desktop just in case I need to get to something quickly. And here it is. Now I kind of want to get everybody over to YouTube. So that's why I say join the fun on YouTube. But here we are. Now I just need this capture device and we kind of just lock it in there. Boom. And now we've got a landscape view in an Instagram kind of format. So this is what I would do for Instagram, of course, using Yellow Duck. And that will get you onto Instagram with good audio and good video and like something that looks official. You know what I'm saying? Something that looks official. All right, let's get out of this. All right, we are in day 2 of filming this video, everyone. Just wanted to pop in for one last OBS tip, and that is delaying the audio. Now, I had a delay on the video, so I need to delay my audio just a little bit. And to do that, here in the audio mixer, we just click on the gear or the cog and go to advanced audio properties. And you can see mic/aux. That's where I have my Rodecaster Pro plugged in. I have it at 300 milliseconds. Now this is kind of trial and error, and I did watch a video on how to delay the audio in OBS. And in that video, I learned that 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. Of course, you could just do the math. I didn't. Anyway, I started at 500 milliseconds because 1 second is a lot of time when you're talking about AV sync. So I ended up on 300, and basically it was pretty easy. I hit this start recording button and I said, okay, 500 milliseconds, 500 milliseconds, did my normal intro, did the old clap test, and then did a little trial and error. I watched the video clips back and found out that 300 was a good spot for me to be in. So that's what I'm going with. I'm at 300 milliseconds audio delay in OBS. So if you notice an audio delay or the audio video is not syncing up either during your stream, or if you just test it out and do the start recording button here, you can see if there is an audio delay and then fix it, and then you're pretty much solid. All right, one more quick tip about OBS, and that is you can actually set up OBS as a virtual camera. So everything coming into OBS can be seen in applications like Zoom. So when you're using virtual camera, you can actually go into Zoom, make a private situation, and send that out to how many ever people you want. And you can have a little private party with, you know, what paid Zoom is like 200 people. Up to 200 people, you could be DJing for them with Zoom, but you're using OBS, and your audio and like multi-cameras and all that kind of cool stuff can just be put into Zoom. That's a really cool feature, and to get it you have to download this OBS Virtual Cam 2.0.5, and there's a couple of things. Just read how to do it. It's pretty simple. If I can figure it out, you can too. All right, so that was kind of just a quick and dirty OBS kind of, this is what it looks like, this is what you can do in it. Definitely check out the tutorials that I list down in the description if you want to get a full in-depth setup. All right, so let's get into streaming platforms and what actually happens on these streaming platforms. Now, I've been streaming on YouTube for a couple years, as I said before, and you know, 2 weekends ago was the first time that YouTube actually like cut the stream. So that happened 2 weeks ago, and that happened just this last Saturday, and I think that's because of time limit. So a black screen just shows up and it says like the stream has violated some sort of community guidelines. And I looked through all the community guidelines and there's nothing I'm violating. So I think it was just a time situation. I try to get my stream to be about 3 hours long, and just about 10 minutes before the 3 hour mark, the stream would cut off. And it would cut off for like a couple minutes and then come back on again. And then cut off again for a few minutes and then come back on again. It's very annoying for the viewers, very annoying for me as well. And the Saturday that just passed, same thing. So I'm thinking it's a time limit situation. I've never had streams cut off like that before, saying anything about community guidelines. We'll get into copyright on YouTube in a minute, but that is what happened. So I'm going to try and curtail my stream till about 2.5 hours. And that just could be that, you know, everybody's just live streaming now as a way to connect with their audience. So that could be the reason. We really don't know, but this is what I'm noticing after the last couple of weeks streaming on YouTube. So as far as Facebook is concerned, I've had streams that run the full 3 hours and the replays are still up on my Facebook page. However, I've had Facebook like go down after about half an hour. I guess it just depends on the songs you play and what the rights holders are actually have set up with Facebook. I did notice this last Saturday that Facebook cut me off at an hour. Now, the same thing happens on Instagram. You can get cut off after an hour. And since Facebook owns Instagram, maybe that's something they are instituting, a time limit on live streams because everybody is live streaming. I'm not 100% sure, but that is my guess. Now, my girl DJ Chris Cut from Las Vegas uses Instagram a lot. Just had a conversation with her, and she noticed that she's usually able to jump back on to Instagram right away after that first stream is done. And the problem is this last one she did, it wouldn't let her back on. So she hasn't tried to stream again, but she doesn't know if she's got banned or if they are just limiting people's streams to an hour a day now. Don't know. Could be interesting to find out. Not really sure what is going on, and this is an ever-changing landscape with streaming right now. All right, what about the streaming platforms that do not cut your stream right away in the middle of the stream? First, you got Twitch, you've got Periscope/Twitter, and you've got the new Mixcloud. Now with Twitch, it is focused for gaming, you know, it has that focus, but a lot more DJs are on there. There's a lot of people actually live performing on there as well, with like Ableton and doing all kinds of cool stuff. So definitely check out Twitch. If you don't have an account, just start one, and when we get to multi-stream, it'll just build on its own without too much promotion. So just think about starting up a Twitch channel. My mixes are up there every week, and since I've just started doing this a couple months ago, I've pretty much gotten almost all the way over to their affiliate program, which means I could start getting paid from Twitch streams, which is great. So definitely one thing to look into. Now, Periscope is owned by Twitter, so if you are streaming on Periscope, your stream is pretty much on Twitter. So that's pretty cool. If you have a lot of Twitter followers, definitely get on Periscope so that they can watch. Ideally, if you have all the good audio and the good video, I try to push everybody to go to YouTube and play this through your TV and your sound system so you get the best experience. But if they have some good quality headphones, they can put those on and they should be good to go, rocking your set from Twitter on their phone. Now, the newest one to join the party is Mixcloud. And I haven't tried it yet, but I hear it won't take down your stream, you won't get hit with copyright, and it is made for DJs. Now, I've had a Mixcloud account for years. I got a ton of mixes up there. I'll leave a link down in the description if you guys want to follow me on Mixcloud. And if you're a DJ and you're not on Mixcloud and you have a bunch of mixes, you should definitely get on there and get those mixes up. So I'm going to check it out this Saturday. I will stream to Mixcloud as well, just to see how it goes with my multi-streaming. Which leads us into multi-streaming. Dun, 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 dun. Now, this is something you guys are definitely going to want to do. Social media experts always say you want to be on every platform, or as many as you can. So instead of doing your stream and recording it and then uploading it to different platforms, which you totally can do, you have the option of multi-streaming through a few different programs. I use Streamyard, which is really, really easy. And that's for the Daily Hi-Fi podcast, which is done on Mondays. And that's more of like an interview style / me and a few other guys just getting together to have fun and talk about audio and interact with our viewers. Now, that you can use that for your DJ stream because it will multi-stream to multiple platforms. The only issue I have with it is you can't use OBS, and you can't really get higher than 720p video qualities. Now with StreamYard, you have 5 destinations that you can set up. It is for only the paid situation, so you're definitely going to have to put up some money for that. But as you can see, I am multi-streaming to the TechnoDad Facebook page, my TechnoDad YouTube channel, Joe's YouTube channel, Mike's YouTube channel, and then the TechnoDad Periscope page. So you have a lot of options here with StreamYard. Again, if you're doing one camera, one audio source, and the best part is it's actually pretty easy to use. If you don't mind the 720p, then you're really good to go with StreamYard if you don't want to have multiple cameras and all that kind of thing, but you still want to multi-stream. Personally, I like to use Restream.io or Restreamio or whatever you want to call it. Sounds like some sort of Harry Potter spell. Restreamio! Now, as you can see here, we've got YouTube, the TechnoDad channel, the TechnoDad Twitch channel, the TechnoDad Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, Periscope account, which is the TechnoDad one, and then this custom RTMP is for the Instagram account. Now, this custom RTMP and the dual Facebook streams, this is on the paid situation. And now, if you guys want to check out Restream, I put a link down in the description that'll get you a $10 off coupon. So definitely check that out. I'm sure that's going to help a lot of you out there, especially with money being tight the way it is right now. Now, this has always said this channel is not in good standing. Streaming may be unavailable. I have no idea why it's saying that because my channel is in good standing. So basically how it works is with Restreamio, you log into all these accounts, and then Restreamio gives you a stream key, which in turn you place into OBS when you go to settings and stream and you put in that stream key. And so you're streaming from OBS to Restream, and that's just pushing the content to all your destinations. So if you go up here to add a channel, you've got a lot of channels to choose from here, and it's pretty crazy. Like, I don't even know. Now, I would try LinkedIn. However, I don't have enough followers on LinkedIn right now to do that. So there's a whole lot. And if you pay certain amounts, like you can live stream to a Facebook group. So if you have like a Serato DJ Facebook group that you're in, you could live stream to that. You know, obviously you'd have to have some sort of like, you know, credentials to do that. Custom RTMP is what you're going to need for Instagram and what you're going to need for Mixcloud. So if those are the things that you want to do, you are going to have to go with the paid version. So when I'm streaming, I have it set up like this. Like I'll be like over here, you know, DJing and all that cool stuff. But over here on the left, as you can see, there are these little radio buttons. And all these usually say online, 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 online. Of course, it's offline because I'm not streaming. However, when I get kicked off of Facebook, you have a little red X over here. And the best part about Restream is that you can just unclick Facebook's and then wait like, you know, 5 to 10 seconds. That's not like a hard and fast rule or anything. That's just what I do. And then you just re-click them and they will reconnect with Facebook without having to type in a whole bunch of stuff. So that's pretty cool. I like that aspect of Restream. If something goes down, you can just click the radio button over, click it over again, and you're back in business. So definitely something to look at. I do pay for the monthly subscription, but one thing you've probably learned from watching this video is that you honestly have to take the time and the money to invest in your stream. One of the things that is annoying with multi-streaming is where does all the chat go? Well, Restream has thought about that, and basically what you can do is download the chat client, which I have on my MacBook Pro, or you can embed it into your stream, which is what I do on my main screen. Right here on the right is the blue chat from Restream. So what that does is it actually brings in the chat from all your destinations. So whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or even Periscope, all the chat lands into one spot. And then when you say something and hit enter, it broadcasts that to all the chat. So if you're like, hey, check out my tipping page, here's the URL, boom, you hit it once, it's on all 4, 5, 6, how many ever platforms and pages you want it to go to, it's going to be there. So that's kind of cool. I like that aspect of it, so that you don't have to look at so many different windows. That's pretty huge and makes multi-streaming a lot easier. Okay, now let's get into copyright, because that is a big issue, and I know that's on the minds of DJs out there all the time. Now, basically what happens in most of the streams is that you'll play, and if the streaming service or platform has an actual replay or DVR type function like YouTube and Twitch and Periscope, they will post the stream and it'll be available for everybody to view later. Now, the thing about Facebook and Instagram is you can actually get booted off the stream if you play the wrong song. Now, from my experience, like doing this for like 4 years and doing audio demos and all this, I've got like a small list of artists like to not use. And this is specific to YouTube only. And it's pretty much like no Calvin Harris, no Beatles, no Led Zeppelin, no Kylie Minogue, no Daft Punk, no Radiohead, the Eagles. Can't play the Eagles. You'll get blocked for a lot of those things. Now, the biggest one I see as the rights holder is WMG, or Warner Music Group, and that's for YouTube. And for Facebook, I notice SME, Sony Music Entertainment, is one of the big ones that always is blocking or muting the stream. Now, of course, this is afterward. Facebook and Instagram might actually do it during. Twitch works in a different way. They mute the stream, the replay of the stream, in those certain areas. Now, Mixcloud is not supposed to mute a stream or take it down, so that's pretty cool. Can't wait to try it out. But as far as YouTube is concerned, you can definitely get around it. So let's check out the back end of my YouTube channel. Okay, so here we are in the upload section of the videos tab. Click on live to access all the live shows. And here you'll see copyright claim and ineligible for monetization. And most of these are public because I've actually done what I'm about to do now. So this one was blocked. I believe this one was also blocked, just like this Saturday Music Sessions is blocked right now. So to get this unblocked, what we need to do is actually just take out the content that's blocking the stream from being replayed. So hover over copyright claims and click on see details. Okay, now that we're here, you're looking for the red dots. Those are the ones video cannot be seen or monetized. Video cannot be seen or monetized. Here's Prince. Here's Kylie Minogue. Basically, if you click on it, you get WMG. That's Warner Music Group. Kylie Minogue, who is at WMG again. And then even though it's yellow and it's not red, this one here, video cannot be seen or monetized. That is another one that you have to take out. Who is this? SME, that's Sony Music Entertainment. Blocked in some territories. That's probably why it's not red. Whereas these ones in red here are blocked in all territories. That's why it's red, right? Red is worse than yellow or orange or whatever you want to call it. So all these other ones are just video cannot be monetized, right? Here's UMG, Universal Music Group, Believe Music, Contour, New Media Music. This is for Contour Music. That's all like electronic music, like straight up electronic music. UMG, what song is that? Oh, Damian Marley, right? Warren G, there's more. UMG. So basically we want to deal with the reds and then the orange that say this one here cannot be seen or monetized. So that's Rufus Du Sol. Who would have thought? So let's do this Kylie Minogue. And since it has the timestamp hours, minutes, and seconds of exactly, you know, when the copyrighted material is being played, we can just have it, trim it out, replace the song, or mute the song, or dispute it if you have like rights to play the song. So since I clearly don't have that, I like to trim out the segment. Sure, we'll miss whatever chat was happening, but if people are watching the replay, then it's just like, okay, all the sound stopped. So I'm gonna hit trim out segment, and then you can preview the situation here. I don't really spend the time to do that, but I'll hit continue, and then it'll ask you to trim. So if we go down to the next one and hover over select action, it says unavailable while video is processing. So YouTube is actually doing all this processing, and we can't really do anything about it until it's done. So if you can imagine, if you have like 3 or 4 that are blocking the stream to be replayed, then that's just gonna take a while. Like, I don't know exactly how long it takes, but I just leave it alone and then come back the next day and remove the next one. And then come back the next day, remove the next one, right? So that's why, like, this stream here, 4/11/20, this one was also blocked, and this one here was also blocked, but I spent the time and have trimmed out all those sections on YouTube so that these play without any issue and people can actually check it out. All right, so here we are on my Twitch video. Any of these red sections just do not have any audio. And I just jumped into a normal section, and yes, I got to hear the audio. I'm not gonna play it now, otherwise I'll get hit with copyright on YouTube. Fantastic. Not really. So that's how Twitch deals with copyrighted music. They just mute at that certain spot. Now, Facebook is kind of similar to this, but they ask you if you want to post the stream muted or not. And it'll tell you, like, it won't get into detail like what timestamp it is like YouTube does or like Twitch, but it'll just tell you, hey, it's blocked in this country or that country due to a song that's issued by either Sony Music Entertainment or Warner Music Group or whatever. It won't tell you the song, but it'll just ask you if you wanted to have your muted stream posted. So I usually do it, whatever, it's all good. Now, this whole copyright issue is kind of a pain in the ass, and a lot of DJs are having trouble with it. So it's one of those things that we just can't get around. Now, if you want to make sure, like, let's say you don't want to stream for 3 hours like I do. You want to stream for an hour and you have a prepared set, or you know what songs you want to play. One of the things that I've done before is to actually make little videos, which is a pain in the butt and it takes a while. Okay, so you can take the MP3 of the song in a video editor, toss it in as the audio track. You can make the video just black, you know, just a blank screen. It's all good. Just export out the video, upload it to YouTube, and then see what happens. Like, will you get the copyright claim, or your video is blocked in all countries? So that's a way to figure out which songs won't get you blocked and will get you blocked. Okay. And if you have, let's say, 15 songs, and then 2 of your songs, you do all that work, 2 of the songs will get blocked. So then you replace those 2 songs. You also have to upload those again separately to see what happens. And then you can kind of go from there and be like, okay, so these songs are good to play. I'll still get the copyright claim, but the video won't be blocked. So that's definitely a way to go around it. It is definitely the long way, as that is very, very time consuming. Another thing you might want to think about doing is going to YouTube and just searching like an artist and covers. So if there's a bunch of cover songs, and there's a ton of like, young YouTube musicians that have like millions and millions of followers and do tons of music covers. So like if you try to look for Prince or anything like that that was read on my list there that we saw earlier, unless they're like professional artists that actually have a deal with the rights holder, and that video will be able to be seen worldwide because they have a deal and they figured all that out, and they've whitelisted that video or channel to have that person's content on there. Now, one of the things that I noticed from doing this for years is that it's just kind of hard to see or figure out who's going to get hit with a video block. So you kind of just have to guess, and you're just just pulling stuff out of the air. Be like, oh, let's try this, or let's try that. So if you have an idea for a mix or something like that, I would suggest going to search the song on YouTube, artist, song, cover, and if you don't see many covers, chances are it'll probably get you blocked. But if you do see a lot of covers, chances are you won't get blocked. So that's a faster way of doing it. But in the end, the best way to know if a song will get blocked or not is to upload just the audio track up to YouTube to see what happens. Well, there you go, guys. There you have it. That's what I do to make my stream look good, sound good, go to multiple platforms at once, and then deal with the aftermath of copyright claims and copyright strikes and blocked videos and all of that. And that's how all the platforms work. I hope that helped you guys out. Now, I'm sure you're probably overloaded with information and like, yo, dude, how on earth am I going to make all these upgrades, or how do I get all this stuff? So, I was told to just do one thing at a time. So now this has been like 6 weeks of this. So I've done one upgrade per week to get to where I'm at. So don't try to do all of this at once. Just try to add one thing at a time. On my first stream, I just had the webcam, but I had good audio, right? So I had the main shot and I had the YouTube chat box. And then the following week, I realized I can use my camera. So that's when I had the main shot with my GH5, which is right there. And I had the, the DJ cam. I started at a lower angle though. Now I've got this angle. And then I added, so it was like this, but it had the YouTube chat box and not the Restream chat box. And so that was a couple weeks. And then I added the Restream. So now I was multi-streaming. Now that first week with Restream was my like test run on Restream and how to do it. Then the following week was me tailoring my Restream down a little bit and making it better. And the week after that, I added Instagram to the situation. And then the week after that, I added the bongo cam. And then now I'm at the point where I want to upgrade my cameras to the GoPro 7s. And that's going to be for the bongo cam and for the DJ cam, because to me, this doesn't look so great, especially with the window there. It's all washed out, and I believe the GoPros will actually give me a better video capture for that. Speaking of video capture, I did pick up a 4-port HDMI video capture card, which actually just got delivered. So I'm going to install that today and kind of just revamp the system. Now this camera here, I want to mount it up kind of above the Denon DJ Prime so I can look directly at people like I'm looking at you now. Like most of the time I'm looking off to the side. You're seeing my profile, which is totally fine. I'm not going to change this framing at all. I'm going to keep it the way it is. I had the camera there, and then this whole situation I want to get rid of. So I want to mount the cameras on that windowsill, and maybe have to take off a couple of these panels to do so, because I actually have a 32-inch monitor that I can place above that. I got an articulating arm, so I got to bust out the drill and figure out where that's going to go. So those are the upgrades I have planned. Now I want to do that camera and monitor over there, so I'm not turning all the time to look at the chat. I can just look up and then look in the camera and talk to people. I can look to the right and still talk to people, and I'll have just that much more going on. And of course, if I have all of this happening, I can actually bring in another HDMI signal off another laptop, which will have, like, I don't know, visuals. I want to make things visually appealing. I know with a lot of live shows, live music, you got to have 3 things for people to stay entertained. 1, you got to have stage presence. 2, you got to have good music. And 3, you got to have something for them to watch. And it's just not going to be you. Like, it's got to be something more involved. And the more things you switch up visually, the more your audience can be engaged in what you're doing. So those are the upgrades I have. And don't worry about upgrading everything at once. Just do one thing a week, or if you're on a slower pace, do one thing every 2 weeks. As my show is weekly, then I have the time to make adjustments, tweak this, tweak that, see what works, see what doesn't, and just kind of make everything better, because I'm in it for the long haul, and I'm going to do this live stream as much as I can. Once wedding season starts up and we're actually allowed to have weddings, I will be working on Saturdays, so I won't be able to do this anymore. So I'm going to try to make this the best it can be for the time being. And maybe there's going to be a time where I can actually set up that I can do this. If we're still in quarantine, I don't even know, but I do love doing this, and I want to keep doing it as much as I can. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, or on social or email, whichever you like to use. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel using the button in the middle of your screen. Once again, my name is Chana D. I'm your Techno Dad, and I'll see you next time.